The dusty plains of ancient Canaan stretched out before them, a restless wind carrying whispers of war. The Israelites stood at the edge of a daunting moment, outnumbered, outmatched, facing enemies with chariots and fortified cities. It was around 1200 BC, and Moses, their weathered leader, had already guided them through the wilderness with a voice shaped by divine encounters. Now, as they prepared for battle, he delivered the words that we know as Deuteronomy 20 verse 4, words that would echo beyond their time. For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory. This wasn't just a pep talk, it was a promise, rooted in the conviction of a man who'd seen miracles firsthand. Moses, the author of Deuteronomy, wasn't a stranger to struggle. Born into slavery, raised in a palace, then exiled after a moment of reckless anger, he'd lived a life of highs and lows before God called him at the burning bush. By the time he penned these words, he was nearing the end of his journey, passing on a legacy of faith to a people on the brink of their own. Deuteronomy itself is a collection of his final speeches, a blend of law, memory, and hope. In chapter 20, he's prepping the Israelites for war, but not with strategies or weapon counts, those wouldn't win the day. Instead, he points them to something bigger, a God who fights alongside them. Fast forward to today, and the battles look different. No chariots or spears, but the enemies, stress, fear, uncertainty, can feel just as towering. I think of a friend of mine, Eileen. She recently lost her husband and was suddenly a widow. She was juggling her job, kids still living at home, needing to take on all the household responsibilities she'd shared with her husband. The pile of bills that were due seemed to grow daily, and she deeply felt the loss of her beloved husband and his income. One night, exhausted, she sat at her kitchen table, staring at her future. She wasn't sure how she'd keep going. Surely this wasn't the plan she'd envisioned for her life. Then she remembered a verse her beloved grandmother used to quote, something about God fighting for her. It wasn't a magic fix, but it shifted something in her. She wiped her tears away and called me for help. We set out with a plan to update her resume and see if her skills and experience could help her move up the corporate ladder. A month later, she landed a better job. Victory didn't come with trumpets, but it came. That's the heartbeat of Deuteronomy 20 verse 4. It's not about dodging the fight but knowing you don't face it alone. Historically, it steadied a nation staring down giants. Today, it's a lifeline for anyone feeling overwhelmed. Maybe you're wrestling with a decision, a loss, or just the daily grind. The idea isn't that every problem vanishes, but that you've got a strength backing you up. Today, as you face your challenges, remember, you're not alone in the fray. There's a quiet, steady force fighting with you, promising a win if you reach out and keep stepping forward.